Hello, true believers. This is bebotsonly, and I said I would do a reaction video to whatever videos I could find on the internet about me, and it's about bebotsonly. And of course, it's a slow process. I've got things I gotta do. I got places to go, people to meet, promises to keep. But one of the things I said I was going to do was I was going to make a reaction video to this. Let's call this. How would I describe this guy? This kind of ogre. So let's so for our purposes, let's just call him the ogre because that's a good description. How would you describe him? How would you describe him? Well, he looks like an ogre. So for our purposes, like I said, we're just going to refer him as an ogre, but most of you already know what his name is. So let's do a reaction video. It's pretty long, so I might zip through. I haven't seen it. I've read some of the comments when I was like browsing through, and I tried to respond to some of them. But this video is pretty old. I think 3 years ago. So this is when a lot of people came out of the woodwork. Of course, and in their defense, it's I was pretty much the only topic talked about. So everybody, but most of the people, so everybody who was vlogging was talking about me, but most of them have removed their videos, and the ones that stayed on. So there's a few that stayed on. So here's one of them. The ones that removed their videos probably know better, but this is one of these guys that he doesn't get it. There's people that get it, and there's people that don't get it. And I always say, just as long as hey, you're not hurting anybody, you're not doing anything illegal, go knock yourself out. So when people get upset about you doing something that's not illegal, then they have some personal issues that they need to work out. I'm not sure. I'm the one that's supposed to help them work them out with it. But let's go to the video and let's do a reaction. Like I said, I haven't watched the video. I wanted to kind of go into it with a fresh response. So let's go to it.
That I probably should have posted before I.
So let's go to the beginning of the video. Let's turn on some volume and let's enjoy. So the first thing we see is his man boobs.
All right,
So that's why.
I just need a minute to just to post that I probably should have posted before I started this live stream, but woe is me. And I want to give you a video that I just watched in full last night to give you an idea of known as bebotsonly.
Okay, so it doesn't pronounce it, right?
Yeah.
So we watched the video last night.
I'm just filling in time here. And talking about filling in time, this fellow, it's always nice to see you too, Scott. I'm looking forward to the day that we actually meet, where we can have an actual real conversation, where it's not actually recorded in a public venue.
So this is going to be a slow video. It's like 30 minutes, 36 minutes. I mean, somebody in the comments tell me what is this person's claim to fame than other than making videos. What has he actually done? What has he actually accomplished other than making videos? Can somebody please tell me what his claim to fame is? Because I have no idea what makes this person popular or even worthy of watching other than just making videos. What has he done? What has he accomplished? So especially when it comes to specific in the Philippines, because I have no idea. I mean, my impression is so far the very little that I've seen of him or know of him. Like I said, this is probably my first full video that I'm gonna watch of him. Is my impression is he's like a bumbling idiot, and that if he was probably still in America or why he left America is he would he would be locked up in a nursing home, not allowed to go outside, so that he wouldn't hurt himself or other people. But I always said America is no country for old men. So instead of being locked up in a nursing home, he's out here free and wild. So let's go to, it's going to be slow going. So you just have to bear
Scott,
with the
what I
process.
discovered is the link. What I did was last night, Daisy and I watched a video of this man called Bebots, or Bebots. I would pronounce it Bebots, but Daisy and I watched the video where the girls that he's in his late 30s, but the girls in the videos that he is interviewing and giving chocolate to are, according to Daisy, at best 15 or 16 years old, and in another video, definitely under 12. So I'm probably going to let
Okay.
this go after today, but I just wanted to talk about some of the other. Yes, Michael Skinner. In that video, if I forgot what time stamp it was, but it was about 2/3 of the video. There was a girl named May and her friend. Daisy said 15 at on the high end of age guessing 15, and they were.
Hey, let me just comment on this whole age thing. You will never know. You will never know what a person's age is over here. They could be 20 in their 20s and they look younger, or they could be in their younger they could be younger and they could actually look older. They could look like a majority and be in the minority, but they could then there's situations in a minority that could be in a majority. So my comment is that's why in the court of law, the only way it's not going to be like looking at their teeth or how many wisdom teeth they have. In the court of law, it is a birth certificate. You have to produce an actual birth certificate, not a copy, not one made from Binondo or Recto Manila. It has to be an actual original copy, or else there. And when it comes to the court of law, your age is not going to be the age is not going to be verified. So, I mean, you can go on rumors and guessing. I mean, so yeah, people are allowed to have their opinions, but when it comes to the rule of law of the land, you need to produce a birth certificate. Now, I actually have several girls that have no idea that one specific that always comes to mind is she has no idea what her actual birth date is because she has no birth certificate and her parents have been long gone and she's kind of been living on her own. So she doesn't know exactly how old she is. I remember there's this case where they were trying to prove statutory rape, but they couldn't produce a birth certificate. She was just kind of like probably born in the boonies or in the bathroom somewhere, and then there was no legal documentation of birth certificate or live birth, so that's going to be an issue. So, because of the technicality that the statutory rape charges couldn't be proven. So in this situation, so when you're talking about how old does somebody look, how especially on video, it's pretty much impossible to tell. But you can make guesses. So I guess this is what he's trying to say is make guesses. But in my situation, in my own personal experience when it comes to courts, is that in my own case, one couldn't be proven because they couldn't produce a birth certificate. So it's not like I said, it didn't win on a technicality. The technicality is there was no rape involved. Hymen notch at 5 o'clock, no injuries. Sorry, this thing is all. This is the actual copy that I had when I was in prison. So it's and they use this cheap paper, so it's pretty much. But here's documentation. Even then, the age over here has never been documented because there is no birth certificate. So in the law, in court, to prove age is you need an actual original birth certificate. If not, then age is kind of floating somewhere. So let's continue. I remember when I was in court, the prosecution would say that, like, can we just stipulate that even though we have no birth certificate, that the person is a minority, and my attorney would object. And this is my second attorney. My first attorney was crap. Second attorney was, I mean, they're all crap, but it's various degrees of crap. Is that I have to admit, my second attorney is actually pretty good at cross examination and objections. And he said, he objects. We're not going to stipulate that we're not going to agree to anything about assuming what their ages are because their age is actually a factor, is being used as a factor. I think it's become qualified because of their age stipulation and the fact that they can't prove their age with a legal document like a birth certificate means that that we can't allow it. We can't assume. We can't accept it. So here, let's go to the rest of the video. So let's talk about the age thing, and then people are saying, oh well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what their age, if you know or you don't know what their age is. If you have sex with somebody that's underage, well, I always go back to the example of, well, what about Tracy Lords? Okay, Tracy Lords made all her American porn movies while she was underage, and everybody pretty much self pleasure to Tracy Lords back in the 80s. I'm not saying I did or not, but the point I'm saying is there's documentation there, and they say that they didn't know that they were having sex with somebody underage. And are we going to make an exception because it's Tracy Lord? See, this is where the hypocrisy comes in. But anyway, let's go to. I always make that example. Then here's actual documentation that all these men had sex with somebody underage. How come none of them are prosecuted? Is my question. Are we kind of selectively prosecuting versus not prosecuting, or are we going to apply the rule to just certain people? The point I'm saying is that they didn't know their age, but that's what they were having sex with a minor with Tracy Lords. Then why weren't they prosecuted? I mean, and then people could say, oh, she used a fake ID. Well, they could do the same thing here in the Philippines. They could use a fake ID. Are you still going to be prosecuted for somebody that used a fake ID? And then can you make the argument that no? So where is it? Where is the line? Where do we enforce? So let's continue with the video.
In their first year of high school. Yeah, Scott, that's why I would never do two videos in a row about the same thing. This has there's a special place in my heart for people like this.
What is that special place, and what kind of people like this are you actually talking about? Let's continue.
That's one of the conversations that we would have to have in person. But so he is actually physically standing there with another adult woman who is not a family member or guardian, asking a 14 or 15-year-old girl and possibly 13-year-old girl for their phone number in case he wants to keep in touch with them so that people could buy them. First word I learned before I moved to the Philippines, pasalubong means free stuff. Now,
see this is where he's interjecting his own Western mindset here, where he's corrupting the traditions and the culture over here. Pasalubong, free stuff. This is a homecoming gift here. And then he say, "Oh, it's free stuff. Give me free stuff." So here we go. Let's continue. I mean, this is typical. Here's what you got your typical ugly American over here. He's imposing his own Western standards or his own interpretation. I guess he's allowed to do that. But anyway, let's continue. So pasalubong, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in case so, this person wants to make an issue out of it. Let's continue.
Typically, it means something of a nature of chocolate. That's what Filipinos prize as their number one choice of pasalubong is American chocolate. So he is actually standing there with some high-grade chocolates, and he gives, in that video link, he gives these underage girls one package of chocolate.
Wow, so terrible. And how old do you actually have to be to enjoy chocolates here? So this is your typical ugly American. They want to take something and make something out of it. And what's the reason why? I could probably make a few guesses. Okay, uh, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse because all these guys come from a very dark place. Is because they don't get it, they don't understand how the culture works, so they can't really immerse themselves or enjoy the the Philippines like I have. You know, they can't make one of the biggest problems is these people can't make the same connection that I have. I mean, it's not their fault, but of course, it's not going to stop them from hating the fact or maybe hating themselves that they can't make this true connection with the culture over here. So now, of course, we got if they can't make that connection, then they have to make it. They have to turn it into something bad over here. So something bad is giving somebody chocolates, especially imported chocolates. I don't know about the local chocolates. I mean, they're all right. They're getting better, but especially imported chocolates. Of course, this person has to say that it has to be something because of evil reasons here. So let's continue.
I don't know what they cost. I wouldn't buy them because they're the most expensive chocolate on the
So he wouldn't buy them because he's a cheap bastard. So let's
shelf.
continue.
But they're probably under 100 pesos for a box about this long. And he's telling them in case someone wants to give them more pasalubong, these are children. These are 15, 14-year-old children that can.
So everybody's children over here. I did this video where Dave Chappelle commented about okay, 15, 16. It's like oh, they're children. But when somebody commits a crime like that one he was talking about, they're going to be tried as an adult. So where is the line where somebody's a children if they're being victimized, but if they do something, they're going to be tried as an adult? So in this situation, he wants to say children, okay, and I probably want to say it's probably done on a case by case basis. You know, like in this situation, let's just take for a fact, even though it's not documented, that this is 15 years old. Okay, that she is willing. This is what she's willing to do for money, and what point is she considered a child here, where she's gonna let her virginity, her vagina, be examined because the police have to steal money? Okay, there. See, you know, these are the police, the criminals over here, because okay, we're gonna be stealing money from him and using his credit cards. So a 15-year-old is gonna say, okay, I'm gonna make a decision to help the police steal money by exposing my vagina over here. You know, I didn't do this. This 15-year-old and the police did this so they can steal money. Simple as that. Now, this person should know better. But anyway, let's go continue to the rest of the video. I mean, this person should know that this is how, when it comes to the Philippines, it's like the story by Steinbeck about the pearl. All age and innocence, it doesn't exist anymore because now that money and greed and jealousy and control of this pearl. But this person, as you could see, he doesn't get it. And this will be the theme of this, probably what with this video and a lot of the videos of where this guy is coming from, that he doesn't get it. And he wants to embellish and relish in somebody else's tragedy. And the good thing is, I actually survived and I actually lived to tell the story. But this time, it's this guy's turn now for me to respond. So he's saying that it's bad to have pasalubong. So if you give somebody pasalubong and if they're not over 18, then of course he's going to have a problem with it. And he's going to be probably saying here that you're committing a crime also. Is that the case? No, absolutely not. But that's what he's saying here. Why? Because he's completely bonkers. And why? Let's continue.
Can he have their telephone number? Okay, now, okay, Contori, or Contori. Okay, I will get to that question in a minute. These are, thank you for the question. These are children. You have to understand this man is 38 years old. He is so smooth doing this.
Oh, wait a second. Smooth. I like that. I am, what do you call that? I'm pretty much practical. I pretty much have a method to my madness. I pretty much want, okay, what is my purpose? I kind of look at things analytically. Okay, why are we doing this? What is the result? What is the medium term result? What is the long term result? What is the short term result? I pretty have much a pretty good analytical thinking of why we do things and why, and for the purpose of getting their personal information is that so I can contact them again. And this is pretty much the same. Like I said, this is the Philippines. This is the Filipino culture when it comes to Filipinas, specifically Dalagas. Okay, I always when I talk about the people I'm dealing with, Dalagas, not prostitutes, not Dalanas, which has been taken for a ride already. That they wear their emotions on their sleeves. They don't hide. I mean, there's a certain point where they, of course, they're being pakipot, but if you know exactly how to read how they wag their tail, it's pretty simple for me. I would gather to say that this is what upsets him and everybody else that watches the videos is because I'm the Dalaga whisperer. I have this ability, I have this special skill. I mean, it could be copied but never replicated. And I just, through my wisdom, I don't want to say wisdom, but my experiences, that I'm able to easily figure out what makes this person tick. I mean, each there's certain things that are universal about women, but there are, of course, because of their different personalities, they all have different personalities, they all have different backgrounds, even though some of them might be similar. I can still figure out what it is that they like and what makes them happy or what makes them wag their tails. So of course he wants to make an issue about every little thing, and that's because he lacks any of these skills or any of these abilities. And part of the reason is he's become his own enemy. He's become his own obstacle to whatever it is that he wants to do. And what people want to do most over here is they want to make a connection with people. They want to connect with people, want to have a relationship with people. And that's what I have the ability of doing. If you ever watch any of my videos, of course, people are going to say negative things about it because when I make my videos, okay, you can see from their eyes when you watch their eyes that they make a connection with me. It almost looks like I will go as far as if you could see them, it's they even give me like these bedroom eyes. How can you tell bedroom eyes? Is for me, it's very easy to read. They do this kind of like wink, wink. They don't close their eyes, but they kind of raise their eyebrows and they make these non-verbal communications, and it's really captured on video. And if you're not paying attention, that's kind of like they're saying that, like, hey, I like this. I like being here. I like you. And guys like this say they're making a emotional connection with me versus somebody like this guy over here. Like, who would ever make a connection with this guy? Is he doesn't know how to be the person that people want to make a connection with. If anything, the only reason why anybody would make a connection with this person is because of his money, and that's his biggest problem. He can never make a connection with anybody else because of this particular reason. It's and in his defense, you can't blame him because that's how he was raised, that's how he grew up. He can't change what he is. But if you're living here in the Philippines, you're in a different culture, you have to, or you're not going to make the connection with the people over here. You have to learn their language. You have to learn not only their language, but their body language, their nuances, their expressions. The way even something as simple as pointing with their lips or saying, "Hey, I'm giving you the bedroom eyes with my when I raise my eyebrows like this." So this person, obviously, I mean, you already know this. The only reason why anybody would want to hang out with somebody old and bonkers like this is because of his money. I mean, look at the. Sorry about these notifications here. look how atrocious he is. He doesn't even keep himself healthy. He doesn't groom himself. I mean, you have to have some basic grooming. You have to have some basic health. I mean, I'm not the most fit person in the world, but I'm not like a disgusting ogre like this person. But but as you can see, I mean, the way he looks, the way he's dressed, the way he grooms himself, I mean, he's throwing in the towel. He already knows that if any girl or anyone, any relationship is going to be making with anybody, it's because of his money. Okay. And you've seen me in my videos over and over again, time and time again, that and we already know what kind of people. There's plenty of people like that that are only involved with him because of money. But when it comes to dalagas like me, which is the only one I deal with, I mean, if you have to choose between which one do you want to have a, a relationship, or which one do you want to spend your time and resources on, the lanas or dalagas, then of course it's gonna be dalagas. They're they're much superior. I mean, it's no that's not even a question for me given the choice, versus this guy doesn't even have a choice, so of course he's gonna attack the people that have the choice. For me, of course, Dalanas versus Dalagas. Dalanas, of course, let me clarify for the people that are new to this channel. Those are the ones that are already gotten pregnant. Those are already ones that have gotten scammed by the local guys. And they say there's even a law and a rule against that, is to get a girl to sleep with you or to have physical relationships with you. The guy will say anything and say, "Oh, we'll get married." Well, and to be honest, I'm probably guilty of the same thing also. I've done that also, where if I ever, I'm not saying I did, but if I did have a physical relationship or a romantic relationship or a relationship, anything that takes it to the next level other than our friendship zone, and this will depend on the individual, of course, that I you will always get the text message that uh, I'm late. When they say I'm late, I pretty much know what they're saying. It's like my period is late. Okay, whether their period is late or not, what they want to know is that you're not using them, that you're not scamming them, okay? That you're just not using them for sex. Now, so in regular situations, in my situation, of course, they're just using that to say that, oh, I don't want to be used, I don't want to be taken advantage of. So they're going to say, I'm late, what are you going to do about it? Okay. And of course I say, of course I'm going to be there, I'll take care of you, I'll give you my name, I will take care of this baby, and we'll be a family happily ever after. Okay. And then after that, you're they're fine, they're happy. If you the relationship continues, even though it's a certain arrangement, but at least in their mind that it's not just an arrangement. Of course, in my situation, I've got my priorities are my own family first. Okay, but these are the kind of not landmines, but the cultural nuances that you have to get used to if you want to continue the relationship with that person. Is you have to not tell them what they want, but I actually mean it, regardless whether you have to go to that point or not. So I've never been into that point where it actually is real, but that they're actually late. But 99.9 to 99.999%, they are actually late. And the guy was just, oh, so the baby comes, oh, I didn't mean it, and the guy takes off. He never see from them again. So that's why they're called dalanas, which means taken advantage of, used, scammed, lied to. And that's what single moms are called. So they're saying, oh, because the guy lied to me, he made all these promises that he's going to take care of me and we're going to be a family, but it's not true, and that's why they're talking to you. So that's why the lanas and the lagas. And you can't, it's hard to make a relationship with somebody that's been damaged like that, that's already that fruit that's fallen and that's already on the ground being eaten by the bugs and being decomposed already. So it's already been damaged. It's already, now you've got this love child born out of a scam. Versus me, well, why would you do that when you can go directly to the tree? And this is what this person can't do. And why? Because it's easier for him to pick the ones off the ground that's already got flies on it versus going up to the tree. He doesn't have the ladder, or he doesn't have the right fruit picker to be able to pick the fruits right off the trees. I'm sorry I'm using these metaphors, but I'm trying to explain why this person would be upset at me, because of I can directly go to the Dalagas versus him. He can only ever go to the Dalanas. Even Brain Dead said, and it's normal because that's why you'll just see a lot of foreigners with just Dalanas, but they will never be with Dalagas. And so, given a choice, would you pick one that's already been flying all over it, or would you go straight to the tree? And but for people like him that don't have the proper skills to be able to go straight to the tree, he's gonna have to settle for whatever's on the ground. So let's continue with. So that's probably why he's saying why I am so smooth, and it's not that I'm smooth. It's just that I know what makes a person behave the way, what makes them happy, what doesn't, because it's very simple. Somebody, I forgot who was it, Johan Cruyff said the game of soccer or football is simple. The difficult part is making it simple. Same thing when I'm saying when it comes to the Lagas, the way they behave, the way that it's very simple. The hard part is simplifying it. But versus this guy, he can't simplify it because he is his own worst enemy. So it's not the fact that I'm smooth, it's the fact that I can relate, or I can understand, or I have the experience versus this person doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the experience of growing up in another culture. He was born and grew up into this American cultural wasteland where they're kind of like the Borg, where they everybody has to assimilate it, and the rest of us are just like fighting a losing battle. The only people that actually win are like the Taliban. I'm not for or against the Taliban, but Afghanistan and the Taliban, they have their culture. If that's the way they do things, that's the culture. If you look up Google the definition of their culture, it's the reason why people do what they do. Okay, and if you're from a different culture, of course you're not going to understand it. I mean, the Taliban, Afghanistan, the same thing in Vietnam. It's like you have to get to a point where what the hell are you doing there? What are you trying to do? What is your purpose? Are you trying to change the culture and impose your own culture on another culture? That's another culture. And then over here we got this so another ugly American imposing his own culture and his own views on another culture while he's in another country. Let's continue. So he's saying that it's smooth. It's just it's just understanding the culture and being able to understand or to know what it is that what motivates them, what makes them happy, what makes their tail wag. I don't have to be a Dalaga whisperer. I just have to be able to. The people like this lack that, the empathy to be. Can you put yourself in that person's position? Because if I'm always in a confrontational situation, I always kind of the best thing is like that. What is it? Sun Tzu's Art of War is like you got to put yourself in your prey. If you're the hunter and they're the prey, you have to put yourself in the prey's position. Okay, what will make them come to you? What will lure them to you? What makes them apprehensive? How do you lower those barriers? They're all very simple. It's just, of course, this person is not going to be able to understand that and get that because he doesn't know anything about other cultures except his own. And if he doesn't like it, then he'll impose his own culture instead of accepting it and working with it and making even I think video freedom says this is taking a negative and turning it into a positive, just like we're doing right now. We're turning this negative commentary and turning into positive. And what I'm saying is, don't end up like this person. He can't make a connection with. I'm pretty much sure that that pretty much. Let me know in the comments that I can pretty much assume with safety that he's still at this day, even living here for years, can't make connection with the people over here. So the first thing you gotta do is you gotta have basic grooming skills over here. People over here, even though they're poor, they still groom themselves properly. They still take care of themselves. versus this guy is a joke. So what? Why even bother? So I, at least I keep a certain standard of grooming where I'm not completely hideous, where I'm not like physically there's anything wrong with me. They're probably, like I said, they don't like with things that you can't do anything about, like your age, your, like example, if you're gray like me, or even if you're going bald, they're not gonna hold that against you. But if you're like this, you're not grooming yourself up properly, you're not giving yourself a haircut or shaving or trimming your nose hairs, or your, of course they're gonna say good thing this person has money. But with me, it's not, at least physically, they're not, that's not a barrier for me, because you have to keep certain standards over here when it comes to grooming. So other than that, pretty much is your actions, your behaviors, your attitudes towards them. If they like it, do they like it? I always give examples of what makes a person like you. I'll use this example in the past already, and something that I'll tell you guys about Filipino culture, and somebody, an ogre like this, would never understand because he has no manners, like a lot of ugly Americans. And there was this one. That's why I accompany a lot of these meetings, because if you go on your own, you're gonna end up you're making this first impression. You're trying to make an impression when you go on these first meetings. And what they want to do is, you have two choices. Whether, if I'm with you, then the meeting is going to go great and they want to see you again. But if you meet for the first time and you're making this impression on your own, do you think you're going to make a good impression, or you think you're going to make a bad impression? The answer is, you're going to make a bad impression. And the question, or the next result, is going to be, do they want to see you again or no? Regardless, when it comes to the Delanas, as long as you have money, you can pretty much be an asshole like this person, and they'll see you again, because not because of his personality or if he knows anything about the culture, if he's smooth or anything like that. It's because of money. Now it comes to the Delanas. If you do something wrong that offends them, they're not going to see you again no matter how much money you have. That's pretty much you could pretty much, when it comes to Bebots only, the girls will come and see you on their own. They're thinking that, oh, it's gonna be just like meeting with Bebots only to realize it's not. It's completely the opposite. I'll give you an example. There was this one guy, meets with one of the girls through when I had my website a long time ago. So they exchange information. Oh, I'm gonna be visiting the Philippines. Then we meet. They meet. So uh, they have dinner or lunch at a restaurant. I think Max's restaurant, to be specific. And she brought her mom with her, and maybe somebody else, another relative. So there's three of them. So they went to go eat at Max's restaurant, and pretty much she didn't really tell me anything else about what the conversation. It was pretty much your basic. Everybody's trying to be cordial. Everybody's trying to be polite. Everybody's trying to be curt, courteous. And then, so when it came to the end, after the meal, so I go, oh, okay, so this is your first impression. What happened? So at least he did the standard. Oh, okay, let's order some food for takeout for pasalubong. And she said no. What happened? What he did was, just, can we just take the leftovers in a doggy bag and just bring it home? And I go, what? You were at Max's. They're famous for their fried chicken. So he should have ordered at least one whole fresh chicken for you guys to take home. And he said, nope, just the leftovers. And that was pretty much it. Now, a lot of you get to look at your Western mindset and think of this as like, oh, wow, they're just using the foreigner for his money so they can get free food. That's not it. It's about, because this is a poor country. They hardly go out to eat. And they have family, and they want to share the experience with their family at home, and they love their family, but there's no way they can do that. So they're hoping that this rich foreigner is going to do that. If they had their own money, they would do it. They wouldn't use the foreigner's money, but they're willing to meet this person so they could share this experience of a nice restaurant with the rest of their family at home. Not because they're using the foreigner, it's because they love their family. Okay, and you're also gonna make an impression. So it left a bad taste in their mouth that this person, if this person is gonna be like this right now, how hard is it gonna be to take them to the next level? It's something as simple like that. I would have just said, okay, let's order an entree, some desserts, something that there. And what you do is you do the ordering, and whatever it is, they'll like it. And if they don't like it, they won't tell you. They'll just make a weird expression on their face, just like when you're going out to dinner. They don't want to pick, but they know exactly what. But they're not going to tell you because they don't want to. They don't want to use you, just like they don't want to ask you for money. They're just going to borrow money and they intend to pay it back. It's just the fact that they'll never have the money to pay it back. So you read their body language, you read their faces, and you say, "Oh, okay, I want to go to McDonald's." It's either a McDonald's or Jollibee. Me, I prefer McDonald's over Jollibee. It depends on my mood. Anyway, I hate fast food, but I love it over here. To them, it's like five-star dining. And it doesn't make me smooth. It just makes me aware or practical or just plain understanding. I want to have a good meal and I can pretty much anything just as long as the person is that's what they want also. But if you say McDonald's and they just kind of like, okay, that's what I want also, then even though they say that's what they want also, I mean, I was just like, you know what? I changed my mind. I'd rather have Jollibee because I want to have their palabok instead. And then this when they go, yeah, 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 I want that also. See, they wear their emotions on the sleeve, so now it's gonna be a happy experience. You're happy because they're happy, as long as they're happy. Because if you go to McDonald's and they would rather have Jollibee, you're no matter how happy you are with McDonald's, you're not gonna have a happy experience because the person next to you is the person should just be happy. It's not about you. It could when you're making first impressions, it's you're trying to win the person's emotions. You want to make a connection with them. You have to do what they like first. That's a basic rule. You have to do what they like. You have to know what they want for them to do what you like, to do what you want. Because if you do what they like, they're going to do what you like. But if they're just doing it for money, then you don't have a relationship over there. You have a business relationship, which is not a real relationship over here. And that's why the reason one of the this that's the main reason why this person is making this video. Let's continue.
And this is not his channel. What you, yes, that's what they call it. You would understand the words better than me. This is not this is not the only video. There are, I don't know how many pages of videos. I went down through 5 pages and there's 18 or 20 videos on each page. So there's 100 videos that people.
100 videos. Well, I've been around. What are you talking about? I moved here in 2008. I started making videos 2009, 2010. It's 2021 right now. So you're talking over a decade of making videos. Okay, so this person is just confirming that. So yes, I do have a lot of content out there. Were they deleted? Obviously, not because they violated any laws, obviously, or they just weren't politically correct. I think because Bebots only was probably too advanced at the time for mainstream consumption. Vlogging at that time when I was vlogging could get you arrested. And I have documentation of that. Arrested for blogging because they're insinuating it's something else. But let's continue.
People have downloaded and re-uploaded, not to make the man famous and not to make the man world renowned in a positive sense, but each one of the videos has comment section and they are all of a negative nature, calling the man, what Scott said, grooming children or a pedo nature. So there have been literally
More American culture perspective. There's no such thing as grooming over here. And let's even take it. Grooming for what? You got a person that's in their cycle of poverty. What? There's only one way to go but up. See, you don't get it. This person doesn't get that. You groom somebody to what? To have a better life? Now, of course, this person is going to attack that because he's been living here for years, and this person has no idea what that's like. What that kind of power, he'll never have that kind of power like I do, where I can touch people's lives and make a difference. Okay, so you're going to be attacked. I'm not saying like Jesus, where of course he's crucified for making a difference in people's lives. And always Jesus' life in the Bible is one big, huge allegory and metaphor. Same thing with me. I have this ability, I have this skill that this person will never touch. And of course, just like the Romans, just like, oh, because coincidentally, just like a Jew, now people are going to say they're going to attack me because I'm anti Semitic. I go, here's a Jew being a Jew. How can I be anti Semitic when I'm just saying, look, here's a Jew prosecuting a person, making a difference in people's life, just like they did during when Jesus was alive. A Jew, in their defense, somebody has to do it. And the Jews, could you make the argument that they have no choice? They have to be the people that are going to be attacking the people that are going to make a difference. Maybe you could be one of those Jews. And I'm actually, not all Jews are like that, but in this specific situation, this Jew is being a traditional classic Jew, prosecuting people that are making a difference, just like because they could never, or it's a threat to their way of life. What the, just like in the Bible references, it's like this Jew is affecting their way of life. What is that? You're just paying people just to, for your relationship, and it's and it's and it's making you look bad. Is that what it is? Is Jesus making the Jews look bad? So that's why they have to prosecute him and crucify him. Is that it? I am making you look bad. So that's all you can do. You can come here to the Philippines, and all you can do is pay people to have relationships with you. Let's continue.
Thousands of people that have seen this man do this. How he got away with it for so long, I don't know. So
how I got away with it for so long, and now the silver lining in the last crisis, the challenge I had was at least we were able to prove in black and white that I'm not doing anything illegal. Okay, so for everybody, so this pretty much this pretty much settles the argument that for anybody accusing me for any crimes, I was already entrapped. I was already a search warrant, even though the search warrants are illegal, and there was no second search warrant to to open my digital equipment. The judge allowed it, and there is there not only is there that I'm innocent, there is absolutely no evidence. Even after you look through all my things, after you entrap me, what else the hell do you want? So everybody's going on these innuendos and suspicions. The police are actually had the search warrant and to take all my things inside my house, including the boss's jewelry, and and my own personal effects, so they could use my credit card and hack into my account and to my bank accounts, so they could steal money. So this is probably something that I'm probably surprised about when it comes to people's reaction. Here I am showing black and white. The police did that they're the real criminals over here. They're the real thieves over here. They stole money from an innocent man. Okay, you would think that a lot of people would be reacting more emotional about it, or they would be more expressive about, wow, these people were caught red-handed stealing. But I only saw a few comments where like, wow, the cybercrime police actually committing cybercrime. I didn't really see the emotion or the expression of, because I know there are people out there that have been victims of theft, of crimes, of identity theft, of cybercrime. And here it is, the police, I show you in black and white, it's actually the police are doing it. And they're going to use children to steal money. So what does that say about, okay, you can say whatever you say about me, but what does it say about the police organization using these so-called children that you're talking about, even though they're old enough to decide whether they want to use their vagina, so the police could steal money? And that's just a simple fact. Okay, I'm not making this up. That's not suspicion. That's not innuendo. Here it is in black and white. Here it is in black and white. That's a simple fact. And then what you guys got over here, that of course they're going to make their own interpretation. That's not how it works. That's like, you're not going to make any progress or the progress that you want or the relationships you want based on your wrong interpretations, like this person is doing. But anyway, let's continue and make an example of what you don't want to end up like, why this person is clueless. If I saw this situation, I would, first of all, I would say my situation, I don't know enough about, because whatever I don't know, I need to hear his side of the story before because the police are the last people you should trust here. The police, like I said, they are the actual factual criminals here in the Philippines, because they could use the law and what their knowledge of the law and cybercrime to commit crimes, and they can get away with it, just like they did with here. Obviously, they got away with it because I couldn't do anything about it. Okay, and they knew what they were doing. Whenever you're in a situation here in the Philippines when you get involved with the police, there's only two things that can happen to you once the police get involved in your life over here, and they will get involved in your life because you have money and they want money. Oh, they need money also. Number one is you'll end up dead, and number two, you end up worse than dead. So those are your two choices once you come into the Philippines. So somebody asked me recently, what is my advice when it comes to the Philippines, because they plan on coming here. I go, the first thing you want to do, especially based on my experience, is start digging your own grave, because that's a high possibility, and with this COVID and pandemic now, a higher possibility that's what's going to happen, because there are plenty of people. This right now, people are so desperate for money, and you throw the pearl, you jump in this situation, in this highly volatile situation. You're the pearl. Now everybody's there's going to be a lot of tragedy around you, including death, or worse than death. Well, you're saying, but it's only the police got involved in you. Which one are you? Well, number one, I'm not dead. So number two is I was worse than dead. Everybody in prison over here in a third world country would rather prefer death over going to prison. But that wasn't in my that's not my destiny. My destiny was I had to go through my own Dante's Inferno, my own divine comedy, to make my way through the other side and be able to share this story, to share this experience, to make sure it doesn't happen to you. Okay, and if you think that it's not gonna, never gonna happen to you. Like I said, there's man's law, which you could overcome. There's God's law, which you could probably escape, but there's Murphy's law. Just you think it's never going to happen to you, it's going to. Once you say it's never going to happen to you, it's going to happen to you again. So you'll be lucky if you actually died. But if you didn't die, then there's something worse, and languishing in a third world prison for years and years and possibly decades, waiting for your trial to finish to prove your innocence. It's like a car accident. Even if you have the right of way and you're still in a car accident, you still lose even though you're right. So it's better just to give up your right of way, so you're not in an accident. It's better to be right and then give up your right of being right than get into a car accident. Same thing over here. It's like, why am I there? I'm warning people. I'm sharing my experience, but you should all be appreciative of what actually happens here in the Philippines. Not these fake people with their fake relationships. If you really truly want to, and I guess the argument is they're saying, oh, my way is better than their way. I mean, that's your personal choice. Obviously there's advantages and disadvantages. What you could do is you could end up, you have to choose what you want to do. If you only have one life, do you want to end up like this guy, or do you want to end up like Christian, who is with joy, is like a perfect example? Of course, me, everybody knows the answer, but for you, I don't know the answer. I don't know where you're coming from. But I guess from my experience, most of the people want to choose this way. Why? Because it's easy, it's convenient, it's fast. You don't have to groom, you don't have to do anything yourself. You could be like the fattest, ugliest ogre ever, and you just use your money. Well, yeah, there's arguments for that, but you only have one life to live. Do you want to live like that? And for most of the people, yes, that's all they can do. But there are a few I can count in one hand that want the joy in their lives. Let's continue.
But now, to answer that there was a, I don't know who Peter Skull is, but I do have an article. You just hold on for a minute. I have an article. Wow, had it. Okay. There was a fella arrested in Cebu for a crime of this nature.
So I don't know anything about that person in Cebu. Somebody in the comments, where he's at now. Does he have paperwork? Does it have legal documents proving his innocence, like I do? So it's hard to compare whether, the to make the comparison, okay? Because everybody knows, like, why am I getting with it away with it? Because, I'm doing nothing illegal, and as you could see, why they what the police were counting on is based, two things: that I was going to be in jail for years and years because they, triple jeopardied me, and that I was based on suspicion alone that I was going to lose. It's like, okay, yeah, we don't have any evidence, but that's our suspicion. So, based on our suspicion, he should be in jail, he should be convicted. And that's what they were. That's what their plan A was. And their plan B was that the suspicion, it's gonna cause so much emotion that that's the emotion is what's gonna get me convicted. Just like this person over here that automatically thinks I'm guilty because he's driven by emotion. Now, emotion is fine if you're a woman, but it's not fine if you're a man. You don't want to, you can have emotion, but as a man, you don't want to base your actions or your words or your thoughts or your ideas that you express publicly, like this person, based on emotions. Okay, if you're fine if you're a woman, but it's not fine if you're a man and here you are acting like a woman. Okay, I think he always says that he's some kind of alpha male, but obviously in this one you're letting your emotions take the better of you, which means that you're not an alpha male, you're actually a chicken woman. That's a gossiping chicken woman. You're just like no better than like a Mrs. Kravitz and Bewitched here with your gossips and your suspicions. It's like Mrs. Kravitz suspects that there's something going on, and you're just going to. This is one of those people that will believe whatever they read or believe whatever the police says. Why? Because they want to believe it, even though it's the furthest thing from the truth. What is it? It's kind of like that mass hysteria, kind of like that mass mentality, that group think. He can't think individually. So people like this can't think of individually because they want to. You can take the biggest lie, and if there's enough people that believe it, it's going to, this person is going to accept it as the truth. If you repeat it over and over again, and there's other people that say it, even though it's the biggest lie, everybody knows, been watching my videos, that I'm not a rapist. I don't need to rape. I can't rape. It's physically impossible for me to rape. And everybody knows you can't rape the willing. But for this person will say that I'm a rapist because that, for obvious reasons, that he wants to believe the lie. Okay, why do people want to believe the lie? I can go into so many reasons why. Is because he's weak. He doesn't know how to think for himself. He wants other people to think for him, and he wants to believe, and he wants to get emotional, like a woman likes being emotional. So this person over here is showing his feminine side. It's okay to have a feminine side. I'm sure I have my own, but there's times and places where you can use your feminine side. But when it comes to attacking Bebots only, you want to become a man and not a woman.
Okay, I'll give you the list of the videos. Okay. There was a man arrested in Cebu for a crime of this nature. Okay, not this nature. He was arrested in Cebu in 2011, a German national, and he got life in prison for taking pictures of a 14-year-old girl naked and selling them online. So this man, B-Butts, if you could call him that, and I use that word loosely, will probably never get out of jail. So that's why I put perpetual free room and board.
Yeah, so that's why I put perpetual renewal. Well, it's sad to say that you're wrong. You're wrong again, and you're probably wrong in a lot of things in your life. And that's what you want to do publicly. I mean, he should have taken down this video a long time ago, like Brain Dead and the others. Is that there? You don't want to be out in public accusing another person, especially of crimes, especially if you're wrong. You're running into legal issues. But for some reason, this person doesn't have the brain cells to take down this video or take down any evidence of being wrong. So I am sorry to say you're going to be very disappointed that you are wrong. You are wrong again, and you are probably wrong in a lot of things. And if that happens while you're here in the Philippines, you're going to end up like this person.
Good. Now, to answer your question as to where the videos are, all right, I'll just take the man's channel name, Bebots, Bebots,
Oh God!
only, all
Somebody
one
shoot
word.
me!
Okay, I'll type it out for you. And I'm gonna. It's small letters. Bebotsonly. Just take this word, put it into a YouTube search block at the top of but none of them of a positive nature. So it's not a question that there's a list of videos. It's a question that everybody phenomena was still existing. I'm not subscribed to his channel, and I've not watched any of his videos.
that is the funniest thing. The most when it comes to it's obvious. Like a lot of people know all these details about me, all this stalking history about me, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm not subscribed. I've never watched any of his videos." But they'll pass all this judgment. They'll say all these things about me, all these serious accusations, serious nature accusations about me, and they'll go around and turn around and say, "Oh, I'm not subscribed and I've never seen any of his videos. Maybe I've seen one, like a few, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago," and they won't openly admit that because there's like millions and millions of views. There's like I I I'm not hard to find, but people are gonna say, "Oh no, I don't watch his stuff." Is the interesting thing? It's like it's better to be. I even made this joke with one of the girls. She was watching one of our mixer parties, and her one of her friends walked in, and he goes, "What are you watching?" And it's like, "What are they doing?" It's like, I go, "Yeah, what were you doing? Were you wearing any clothes when you were watching our mixer party videos?" It was almost like she was shocked, and it was the one with Wes, and she told me that story, and it was actually a girl that Wes actually ended up having a connection with. He didn't. So one of the funny results of that. He couldn't make a connection with one of the girls in the mixer parties. I mean, he did, yet he didn't. But he made a connection with one of the girls that watched the video of the mixer parties. They didn't see him as a man. They saw him based on his actions and how he saw that, like how the girls' reactions were to him, how happy they were to be with him, and how they were happy to be with them again. And he had like 2 or 3 mixer parties, and they were all very fun, and all the girls enjoyed it, and they wanted to come and do it again. Not because of the pasalubong, not because of the food, is because they enjoyed the experience. They were happy being with their friends and making new friends. It was a good experience that I wish we could have continued doing, not because the girls weren't interested in doing it. Hell, they wanted to come do it every weekend. They wanted to, but no men showed up anymore to meet the girls to have to have their own mixer party experiences. And is it why? I mean, it's like Demolition Man. It's relationships, real relationships. It's not for everybody anymore. It's only for a few people. Everything now is just a business relationship now. It has its pros and cons, obviously, but you only have one to live. So do you want to just have this virtual relationship or this business relationship, or do you want to have a real relationship? And to do that, you have to do it with the Dalaga. And you're not gonna find her online, and you're not gonna find her at a bar. How are you gonna find her? Like I said, it's in the sauce. So this video has gone long enough. I don't think I'm gonna finish this video, but I'm gonna give him a few more minutes. But it's too slow. He's not really giving me anything to really react on.
Probably since 2000. I, I might have watched one in 2014.
Look at this. I might have watched one. I vehemently deny it. So this is why. Here's my message to everybody that's watching. Come out of the closet. Be free. Yeah, I watch his videos every day. He makes videos every day. He makes content every day. It's interesting. I want to know about the culture. I want to know the reality. I don't want this fluff, this people blowing smoke up my ass like this stupid Jew over here. Okay, I don't mean to say stupid Jew, but this, let's just say this Jew over here. So let's continue with. So he admits, oh, I might have watched one a long time ago. Every day. So how do you interpret that? Right? Look at this person being a woman. Be a man. Just say, yeah, I watched it. What are you gonna do about it? Okay, because he has content that nobody else has. He has people that nobody else has. He interacts with them that nobody else can do. All right. And if I can't be like that, then I'm going to obviously attack that person. If I can't do what he can do, then of course I'm going to be criticize it. Of course, I'm going to accuse him of something, doing something wrong. Just like it would be the comparison with it was like if an athlete must be excelling, must winning championships, always winning, then he must be taking performance enhancement drugs or steroids. I mean, reality, yeah, probably do, like Lance Armstrong. But the point is, like with bodybuilders, people are going to say, oh, yeah, he has a great body. We want to have that body. We will never be able to have that body. So we just say, oh, that person takes steroids. So obviously, this person is not going to be able to have the relationships, a real connection with. But that's why he was even here. He's never going to be able to do that because he doesn't get it, because he's acting like a woman. He can't get a woman if you're a woman. Two women are not going to like each other. If they women over here, the lagas over here, will want a man. Maybe if they become Delanas, they don't care if the person has money, then they could be with another woman. But the point is, what they get together with these tomboys. But the point is that a dalaga is gonna want a man, a real man. And what is a real man? Somebody that they can respect, somebody that they can trust, somebody that is understanding, that gets it. Versus, I don't want to say smart, because somebody could have like high SAT scores and still don't get it. Or I don't want to say book smart versus street smart. That's kind of like, especially with my last experience in jail. Now, I was like out in jail and I went to go get my driver's license, and it was like the next day I got out of jail, and I went to go get my driver's license. I was wearing a mask. I had to get a replacement driver's license because the police stole my driver's license so they could steal the money from my credit card. So that's why they had to hold on to it, so they could use my identity and say, okay, we need ID. Oh, here's the ID. Now use his credit card. Oh, okay, we have valid ID, so we could use his credit cards now. Illegally, I repeat, crimes committed by the police here in black and white. Here's the date, July 30, July 31, and here they spent $3,000, not 3,000 pesos, $3,000 on lechon. Here, you can see it in black and white. Okay, I'm not making it up. This is not suspicion. Okay, and everybody knows, even this guy, even this stupid village idiot, this stupid moron over here, this just guy who just lost all his marbles already and should be in a nursing home, knows that people over here will do anything, including him, for money. So for money they will do anything like this for money. But of course, these people don't want to do that. But there are dalagas that will do that, and then you're like, hey, why did this dalaga, this virgin do this? You don't understand anything about the police. If the police tell you to do this, and if you don't do it, they're gonna kill you or do something worse. Okay, so what do you have? No choice but doing it. Hell, even I was in that situation. I had to bail out a police from losing his job because the police that's holding my life in prison. So I did it so I could have good relationships with my guard, the person guarding my life over here. So back to what I was saying here. Oh, what is the point I'm saying right now? Here, let's get back to the video here.
And the man made me sick then. And I want to talk about other people who have made videos about this and why it took so long. We're talking.
Okay, let's talk about this. So now that I'm in prison, so this is the same thing as like, okay, the person's down. Let's all take turns kicking him now that he's down. If I'm out now, look, I'm out of prison now that I'm not down. Where are these videos now? Where are these reactions? Where is the reaction now? Now, Brain Dead at least had the decency, but like I said, I wasn't. I guess it wasn't confrontational enough, and I could probably agree with most people. Like I said, I haven't seen the video. It was after 8 hours. And I wanted to let him feel that we could do this again. And I wanted what I wanted to do was say, hey, let's react to the video together. What I want to do, if any of the Brain Dead cult followers, this is what I want to do. One of the many things I want to do. I want to go on his channel. We'll do a live stream and we'll do a reaction video there. That's why I haven't seen his video yet, or the reaction video, because I want to react to the video that he did. What I would absolutely love is do a reaction video on his first video before he edited it because of, well, what's his name? Sissy Style wanted it taken down and he had to edit it for safety reasons. Never mind my safety or the safety of my family, my innocent family. But since as long as it's not his family that's being endangered or your family being endangered, it's fine. But let's continue with other people. So now they're making these videos while I'm in prison. Now that I'm in prison, where are you at now?
He's been
now that I'm out of prison, where are you at now? Here we go.
Surveillance. Well, the NBI has been aware of this fellow.
Okay, let's clarify. In all my 3 cases of human trafficking, the NBI was never involved. Their names never popped up. Nothing has popped up that I see that I can document. If I can't document it in some kind of black and white form, then it's just gossip. Okay, this is the court of law over here. Its decisions are not based on gossip. So the NBI is involved, the FBI is involved, the CIA is involved. Let me tell you right now, I don't see anything in black and white that any of these people are involved or any of them showed up in court. There's plenty of police that showed up in court. They wanted to see the monkey in the cage, and there was this one. Well, I forgot the name of it. It's something Jack, something NGO that showed up and visited me while I was in prison. And that person, I wish I could find out where that person is. It was this ugly white lady that came to visit me in prison just to share her thoughts with me and what she thought about me. Because just like her, she was hysterical, just like this guy. I can understand it from a woman, but from this Jew acting like a woman itself, that's his decision. Let's go into what are they saying while I was in prison. Let's talk about it. So now that I can react to it, let's discuss it.
Since he started, I mean, it's not in 2011, but other people have actually done live streams and had him on the live stream where he tried to justify this kind of behavior. And
see, to them, you're looking at it from, of course, an American perspective, right? To justify this behavior, how terrible it is. Just like the Taliban taking over Afghanistan, it's terrible. It's their culture. It's not for you to judge just because it's not the same culture as you. You have to respect other people's culture. And that's the American way. It's like our culture, right or wrong, you respect it, and we will use our bombs and bullets and drones to make you just the same as our culture. So this person is saying, okay, let's look at it from our culture and impose our own culture onto their culture.
As much as he tried to justify it, he couldn't. I mean, he definitely tried, but it just wasn't.
I tried to justify it. Okay. What is the justification? Is the justification is justice here? The justice is served. That the judges, not just one judge, not just two judges, but 3 judges that said, okay, whatever you're accusing this person of is just based on suspicion, and unless you have evidence of it, Then you're talking about libel and slander.
Wasn't something that was, if you were had halfway intelligence, you wouldn't accept it as a solution to the corner that he put himself in. Okay, so now Strong heard pedophiles are not allowed here in the Philippines. Only bebots as GROs. Now, I don't actually know what the word GRO means. Government, is that? If you could write that out in full, I would appreciate it, because I know that you leave intelligent comments.
Okay, no, no,
And I don't
I
know
don't
what
even
a
want to bother
GRO
commenting on
is.
that.
I'm
I don't
not
want to
familiar
bother commenting on
with
that
the
ignorance.
Philippines law. What I posted up on the top in regards to what is allowed and what is not allowed, it says, what I discovered is that foreigners are not allowed to be alone with an underage child in the Philippines unless they are with a parent or guardian. Now, many times I make videos of children on the beach, but I just am walking by and I say good morning or good evening, and there's 4 or 5 children, and then Daisy and I are walking down the beach, or there's many adults around, and most of the time the parents are on the beach watching the children swim. That's allowed. But to be alone in a room with a Filipino child, I just discovered this last night, is not allowed. So I'm going to go back to the comment. Peter Scully was an Australian who did child porn. And
Okay, I guess let's comment on that. Number one, I'm not a foreigner. And number two, I was never alone. Actually, technically, if that's what you're saying, I was never alone. There was plenty of police there, the social worker, their parents. And so we got a dozen police, two camera crews, I think two social workers, and all their parents and aunts were there. So based on that, you can't really apply the same reason for me. And I was with two girls the whole time. Two young, what is it? Let's see. One of them had during the exam, breast conical. Oh, okay. Enough of that. Let's go to the
murdered
rest of the
kids
video.
in the Philippines. Well, that I never. See, I don't follow this kind of genre. This is
You don't follow this kind of genre. I just watch it every day. You see there. So so ogre, go ahead, come out of the closet and just say, yeah, you've been following my stuff since 2011 or 2000, whenever it is you started coming over here. And what is it that I wanted to say about? Oh, and the girl, let's just say, even it's written here in black and white that she's 15. This was 3 years ago. She's 18 now. Okay. See, that's another thing that you guys don't understand. You got to understand. It's like they don't stay 15 forever. It's like they're 18 now. It's like, okay, your argument will be, why did you just wait until they're 18? Well, she's got a bunch of tattoos now. She's a Delana now. If I wait until she's 18, she's not a Delana anymore. That's just a simple fact. You can't change that. See, this guy will say, yeah, you can't touch with them or you can't talk to them. You can't be with them until they're 18, until they're Delanas. All right. This is kind of like the Kubayashi Maru scenario, the Kubayashi Maru experiment. I don't what it's called. It's a lose-lose situation. It's like, what are you gonna do if you're in a no-win situation? It's like, okay, I can't be a so what I found was like the hybrid approach. It's like I will, and probably the best, you could probably use that technical. I will groom them into a human being so they could use their what God has given them, their youth and their beauty and their innocence, and use it to break out of their poverty and make a difference. And it's like, oh, those are strong statements. Could you do that? I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, joy as an example. Nobody can argue my legacy as one of them. I made a, even if it's just one person that I made a difference. This is something that this stupid ogre will never understand. We'll never be able to come even close. And of course, they have to call it something that the Jews would do, or heresy, like they did with Jesus. I mean, it's in their, it's, I hate to say it, it's in their DNA. And people can say that not all Jews are like that, but this Jew is exactly just like that. So if he was in the Bible, you know exactly what kind of Jew he is. There's the good Jews, and then there's this Jew. So if you're a Jew, you should be ashamed for this Jew. I would be if I was a Jew. I mean, I'm not even a Jew, and I'm ashamed of this guy being a Jew. Let's continue with the rest of the video.
And I laugh because how he even got away. How do these people get away with this stuff?
How we get away with it? This is so terrible. This is so wrong. He gave chocolates. He asked for a phone number. And now the girl is 18. Oh, okay, all that stuff is okay now. If you know anything about the Philippines, the poverty, the corruption, you're not going to be able to use conventional methods of just like, oh, okay, let's just wait until they're 18 and then do something about it. It's too late. Too late already. And what are you going to do if you're too late? Nothing. And that's what you're going to accept? This is the Kubayashi Maru. Nothing. So it's a fail situation. Well, I found a way to get around that. It's like, okay, if you want a dalaga, where are they at their point of their lives where they're still dalagas? And we will groom them to keep them dalagas. While this guy over here, well, I want them dalanas because that's the only way my money can get to them. That is it. That is the focus of this story, of this motive. It's like they want everybody to be dalanas because that's the only way that they can have access to them. By the time they're 18, these girls, this girl over here, this virgin over here, she already has a tattoos on it. If a girl over here has tattoos, that means she's already done. She's not a virgin anymore. She's selling herself for money now to strangers. And why? Right? She's not a dalaga anymore. Okay, so this guy can have her, and that's the only way he has relationships with any of the girls over here. And they're probably arguing, well, what's the difference? Okay, money versus not money. That's probably a separate video in itself. Okay, that's one of the things that my theories. I've never been to Thailand. Why people like Attorney Mark and Marcus, who they have jobs in Thailand, they have properties in Thailand. You can own condos in Thailand. He owned more than one condo, but he was like coming over here to the Philippines because he couldn't make the same relationship he can with the girls over here. And they kept coming. They kept coming more than once, even though you could go to Thailand anytime. Why do you want to come here? Because they want that same connection. They can't make that connection with a person in Thailand as they can over here. So they just come over here, and they can only do it through the relationships that I've created. You see what I'm saying over here is that then there are pros and cons to it, and these people, it's an individual choice, and the people who make that individual choice shouldn't be attacked. I don't want a prostitute for a relationship. I don't want to make a wife out of a bar girl. I want to make a wife out of, because Joy herself was a child. She's like 30 years old now. You have to do the calculations. I've been doing this for 13 years. She's 30. You could argue that based on what this person is saying, she's a child also. But the ends, when you're talking about a culture that's so corrupt and the poverty so mind-numbing, so mind-crushing, you can't be worried about being politically correct. You can't be talking about this is where the ends justify the means. Just as long as she gets out of poverty and her children have a chance, even Brain Dead says that just because you're lucky enough to be born in a place that gives you privileges and all these protections and laws and services, that you have this advantage in life now. But when you're born in a poor third world country, and it's getting worse with this pandemic, and you got idiots like this that are making it worse with their money, with their American culture, then of course you have to decide what you want to do. Of course, you could go this route if you're like this guy, exactly like this guy, or if you're somebody else that wants to have a real connection, it's like all this water but not a drop to drink is why this person is talking like this. You got my storage is running out. So It just told me that I'm running out. But anyway, I'm gonna keep continuing. So if it cuts off, that means I ran out of storage. I didn't think it was gonna go this long, but let's continue.
I
I
laugh
might do a
because
part
it's so
two.
sick. And the solution to this is so simple.
Okay, he's sick that it's been allowed, and here's the solution.
I don't see how they get away with it. I don't understand it. I
See, he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand it. And this is because he refuses to accept the realities. He refuses to see how the culture over here and the reality of the culture over here.
I'm at a loss for words. I
Yeah,
only researched this last.
because you're an idiot.
I did a video live stream yesterday without any understanding of what was actually going on. And I only watched 4 videos, partially the 4th one, entirely the 3rd one, and then I don't know, 1.5.
And this is a guy justifying his closet Bebots only watching habits.
Half-hour live stream where people were interviewing this guy, Mark Christian Catley, age 45. I remember his name today. Mark Christian Catley, age 45.
So you're saying my name. So now you're saying my name. So you're saying a personal name here on your YouTube channel.
Type of guy, but
so let's. So this
is
is
really soft.
So this. So now this is you've treaded into somebody. I should download this video. I'm gonna download this video so we'll throw this guy in for we'll throw this guy in with the NBI when I report Brain Dead and Kristen Cebu for cybercrime.
And he was asking this man, this Bebots fellow, questions like he was being cross-examined in a courtroom. I'm going, I never really cared for the man's, I don't know, YouTube persona. He's very sarcastic, much more sarcastic than I would be, and that's
an interesting analysis over there. Sarcastic, yeah, I could probably agree with that. More sarcastic than him. I've been through a lot of experience. I've been through a lot of things that nobody will ever go through experience, and I've always made this point that I'm an expert when it comes to experiences, and I've had a lot.
Pretty sarcastic, but sometimes he's fun. But last night I was watching, and I'm saying to Daisy, well, this guy is really smart, and I had no idea how smart this guy is.
Smart. Okay, let's continue. Why does he think I'm so smart?
But then at the end,